东湾森Leandro总图书馆明天会有一个短片节，会播放2套由本地艺术家拍摄的短片。
小肉粽啊，小肉粽，来呀来买小肉粽，滋味滋叹歹命人。
eggs and whatever you cook. The poppy is finding a walk that he favors and enjoys.
It creates what we call a watershed.
Water goes through the storm drains and into the culverts of different creeks in Oakland.
Create this underground network of storm drains. So now when it rains,
it's all water. We were just a moment.
Skating is that medium of flow. But then when it's too fast, it has no continuity. So right here. And then he said,
I just believe that connection relation. People are there because they want to. I really believe that if we can make society
for me. So for instance, yes, this is going to be, it's the most popular way, not that, so it is a sourdough without gluten.
Was one of the recipients of the Arts and Culture Grant through the City of San Leandro, so that's how I was able to put this together. And my films were a long, long way away, and the series at the end, which the series is called 3 Stories, 1 Community, and it was made of 3 different stories. So.
I try to make all people together is like having the event, right? Like we have tried this New Year event, that's how I start. And what you see on the film, there was the invention this year. And that is how we bring all together. And I love cooking too. And you see the bacang. You know bacang? It's the history, Chinese food.
All above ground, without water, east of Oakland. I'm from Antioch, so 2 mountain ranges away. Antioch, Oakley, where my family grew up, where my family arrived to Antioch vis-a-vis Leandro. So very, very special to just be here tonight. My grandmother loves public life.
Char Kway Teow is a Chinese rice noodle with the fat just picked up from there with other vegetables, a little bit of spices, quite a simple dish really. So raised slim sausage, it's got a bit of fat and lean, we just slice it up. And I used to watch her, eggs and whatever she had to add to it. And add it to the kway teow was even cooked. Much of my life was spent in Malaysia and Singapore. The seasoning we use would be just soy sauce. In Asia, there are a lot of popular charms fried, so we just each fried in a wok. When we were growing up, it feels good to be able to give him some support anyway, and that is something that he favors and he enjoys.
It's divided into high and low places, and everywhere there's a hill. The hills around the edges here, it creates what we call a watershed.
Water goes through the storm drains and into the culverts of different creeks in Oakland.
Create this underground network of storm drains. So now when it rains slowly throughout the landscape, eventually finds its way through a spring or just through underground flow to the creek. Now that water, instead of having that slow movement, it just gets shunted into these huge concrete storm drains and it goes straight out into the bay.
A historical site, ecological center, a place for education, a place for the community to gather, have ceremonias, and is used by people of all cultures and ages. Peralta Creek runs alongside this historical park.
It's all water. We were just a mud flat with no water at all. In the late 1990s, some of our neighbors told us about swimming in the creek.
The act of daylighting is to bring that.
At Rob's place, they were able to daylight the creek because they had a few homes in that property agreed to come together and take out the culvert. If we all came together and did that kind of thing, it could create that type of ecological diversity and abundance. Flooding is a natural part of life. We don't live with flooding, we control flooding. The water being culverted is in itself an act of slow violence upon the community, since the community doesn't get the benefit of a creek flowing through. And bringing the creeks back from the pipes to the surface, we can return water back to the people. I imagine this new way of life as being in community with our local ecology, from the animals that will use the creeks as home to the creek itself, expanding, moving, and overflowing with storms.
Skating is that medium.
Talk differently. Skating and dancing is the same way. It's just a beautiful thing when you do a move and then it works. There are different movements that you do to create a dance. So what I've done over the years is that each movement that I do, I give it a name. And that way it's easy for me to remember it by the name. Two things, crazy legs and great pockets.
So you take moves like a grapevine with a twist. When you create something that nobody else is doing, it is a high by itself. You don't realize how good it feels to create something new. The 60s, 70s is what as far as dancing on. It's about skating out in park. Going out there every Sunday, we formed a group called the Golden Rollers. And the Golden Rollers just became like a Bay Area in the skating community. Nobody's seen anything. People started calling us
So there's no flow. But then when it's too fast, it has no continuity to the routine and the steps that you're doing. Thing with the keyboards or something, and he said, don't rush that. Don't. I need it to be right here. And then he said, you have to look like you put a lot of time into it. It takes time. It's not no overnight thing. Teaching the art of the dance, and I will always say it's the art of the dance. It's not the art of the step. It's not the art of a move. It's a dance. Back. You got it?
I just believe that connection relation else has their story and is walking their own path. Really deep down, people know what they need to heal. They know what they need to take care of themselves. They know what they need to better their lives. But I'm here to make the space within themselves and in our relationship safe enough that they can really expand. I actually started a group that wanted to open up our home, have people, so we would do dumplings and drink and have a good time, but then we would sort of open up like a space where people could get up and they could show a film they made or show off their talents, and so feel, but in a way that was fun and that just actions. I just started a parent coaching training that I'm going to be doing this next year to become a certified parent coach. You know, coming together over this shared space where people are there because they want to. I really believe that if we can make society
different loaves have different stories for me. So for instance, we make a classic French style baguette after working in a French bistro for almost 3 years. That for that reason, we don't make like a sourdough baguette. I think it's like, yes, this is going to be a star for life. And it's the most popular bread that we steam milled rye kernel. What it means is that it has some sweetness from the honey itself. And this is an example of a nap bread. So it is a sourdough without being super. It makes me feel that the bakers, the systems that our team to create the bread, and it shows me that my team also has an understanding of what fruit and the fermentation. Working with everybody to create a cohesive and positive work environment, that's an important, supported and working well while also crafting. So when I started baking professionally, I never had a female manager or a female boss or a female owner. So, or with a leadership position was not a man. So I think that definitely. That it was a place where people could walk or take their stroller or their wagon or, location. It's been so great to have it organically grow from a pop-up at the now shuttered Cleophas Quealy Brewery to Bread Club and Strippers Bar. Yeah. People see me actively in the community. I can connect with people about, anybody who's a baker knows how much orange zest and lemon zest and the juices from both. And then of course all the seasonal specialty items like figs or thyme or broccoli or what have you. A lot of people have lost based on the model of community support, being close with your neighbors and yeah, just being really involved with the place that you are. Red Giant with robots.
Let's have another round of applause for them. So thank you for staying for showing. We have about a 20-minute intermission. The second showing will begin at 1:40. So feel free to go down the hall and grab some snacks and drinks from Chef Alia. And then I know there's also an art show going on if you want to check that out. So we'll see you back then. Yes.
If the filmmakers are here, I'd like to invite them to the stage. Thank you.
Okay.
Jimmy? Hi. So yeah, I just wanted to introduce myself, and I'll pass it on to you two to introduce yourselves and say the name of the film or films that you made. So my name is Kimberly Torniclab, and I was one of the recipients of the Arts and Culture Grant through the City of San Leandro, so that's how I was able to put this together. And my films were a long, long way away, and the series at the end, which the series is called 3 Stories, 1 Community, and it was made up of 3 different stories. So.
My name is Henry Huang, and I live in San Leandro since 1993. So it's about, I believe it's more than 30 years in San Leandro, a long-term resident. And I live in San Leandro is I love to see is what how the community got together. And in the past, that is my kid was in the elementary school. We have like majority is the Asian group parent and the Latino parent. They are not getting together. So I try to make all people together. Is like having the event, like we have Chinese New Year event. That's how I start. And what you see on the film, there was the event this year, and that is how we bring all together. And I love cooking too. And you see the bak chang, bak chang. That is the history Chinese food. It's about 2,300 years of history. And you want me to continue or just introduce them? Okay. For that film, what I chose the film is that is historical, and also that we celebrate the dragon festival every year. What we celebrate is on the 5th day of the 5th month in Chinese calendar. And the history of how it started is based on, the 2,300 years ago. That is the high officer in Su Kingdom, and because he always give the idea to the king, and the kingdom want to listen. And when the country is disappeared, right, it was conquered by kingdom, and he was very upset and suicide to jump to the river and die. And the people over there is trying to look for him under the water and cannot look for him. And so there's one of the persons I guess is to give him the food, right? And when the food goes to the water, it was eaten by the fish. And how to make it? How to give him the food is by rocking, right? And then it's what we see the butter, right? How it's coming from. And why call is Nyonya Zhang, is the pronounced by Fujian is the immigrant from China, from Fujian, is in 15th and 16th century. They moved immigrants to Southeast Asia, like Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia area, and those people later become the resident in the area. And for the women, they're wearing the Chinese custom on the car, and the man is with the sarong. That's how we call Nyonya and Nyonya. And the Chinese people don't understand how to pronounce it and call Nyonya. When I was a kid, and my mom in the late age, they called those people as Nyonya. Okay, Nyonya. And the batam they make, what we call is Nyonya cha. And the Nyonya cha they make is very different from the Chinese style. It's all ingredient, and you cannot buy it in the market because it costs too much ingredient and also cost the hour make, so you cannot buy it in the market. And so far, I believe it's disappeared. And that is the only that I learned from my mom. When my mom was young, back in 1950, and learned from the next door, the Nyonya family, the next door, and he learned it. And when she comes to the United States to visit me, she teach me how to do it. And that's how I learned it. And my mom is almost 100 years old. And I believe nobody knows how to make it. And I'm the only one making it. And you want to see the real Nyonya cha? You want to show it? Oh, you sent the picture. Oh, okay. I made it yesterday. That is the real one, the Nyonya cha. You can see on the film too. That is the story about the Nyonya cha.
Thank you for sharing with us. My name is Jimmy Ramirez. I made the film called Above Ground, Without Water, east of Oakland. I'm from Antioch, so 2 mountain ranges away. Antioch, Oakley, where my family grew up, where my family arrived to Antioch vis-a-vis Leandro. So very, very special to just be here tonight at my grandmother loves public library. So thank you for putting this on. Thank you for being here.
So before we open it up for questions with you guys, I wanted to ask Jimmy, where did you get the idea for your story?
So I could always teach her voice it too. I'm a U.S. history teacher, so I'm a total nerd. I could get loud and go. I don't know if I could fill it all the way back there, but the Fruitville is a very special place to me, very special to my family, to myself. I started kind of going to that creek that y'all saw at the beginning and the end, and just meditating, laying my sorrows into the creek, and just letting that kind of piece of land speak to me. I served on the board of Peralta Hacienda for some time. I did a lot of water keeping programs with our youth, and it was just, I don't know if anyone remembers the rains, but when they came and when the rains flooded my area, everything was 2 mountain ranges away. The water table was so high and everything, it wasn't in Oakland, and that caused some concern. And so started meeting with some neighbors and trying to figure out why the water was so low in Oakland even after so much rains.
Thanks for sharing. Does anyone have any questions for us?
I have a question for Hendy. I've lived in San Leandro for 5 years now, and I'm curious, as you followed the cultural arts and the events, how have you seen it change from when you first moved here versus now? And can you share some of the cultural events that you filmed throughout the years?
Okay. For the whole year, we have all different kind of events. I attend in a time to do it, and every time when I attend the event, I take video and I post it on my YouTube channel. We have the Chinese New Year that is in the library, and then we have Cinco de Mayo that is mostly in the senior center or either in the Marina Community Center, and I did take it. I passed it at the Little China. And also police barbecue, police department open house, and also it's great for all the community together. And also a one festival that we celebrate every year. And the Chinese New Year and the Moon Festival they celebrate in San Leandro is I started. The Chinese New Year I started in Wellington Elementary School when my kids were small. And in the elementary school I started with Latino parents and the Asian parents. We bring all the food together and have the San Leandro adult school. They bring the children to make the lion dance, something like that, right? And second, and at that time, there was the person is the city council, Tony Santos. I saw the film, there's a picture in there too. And he told me that Henry, I wish we have this event in the city hall. And by the time it's the end of the year, then we have the Christmas event in the city hall. And I talked to him then. I would like to bring the Chinese New Year in the city hall, but I need a fund. I need money to do it. Right? And he worked it out with the mayor to get the money like $1,500, and then we coordinated with the city, this library, the library manager, and to get the fund like $1,500 also from the library friend, friend of library, and come up with 3,000, and then we make the event, right? And I get all my group from all the school. They start with, we have 3 schools to participate, and then we get some other group join too. And we have the first event is like, I think it's in the big room. The big room, it's crowded. And a lot of people cannot get in because the first time we celebrate. It's like almost like more than 500 people cannot get inside. And everybody is packed inside the room. And second year, the library manager do the continue until now. We celebrate the New Year. And the Moon Festival is I start in 2012 because I think is like to support the candidate and they and how we make it. We make the event right in the park, and we start in a small area, and I invite my friend to do the performing, and every year we celebrate, and until now we celebrate the Moon Festival in the library right now, and that's how we need to start. At the beginning, it's not easy. And also the coffee class that I start with at the school in 2004, and we only start with 6 parents. And later on become like more than 100 parents come to join every Friday, bring the coffee, and the food is all over on top of the table, and a lot of people come, and they bring up the issue, and then we collect all the issue, and sometimes I bring the issue, bring it to the city hall, go to the school board, or either go to the city council to bring up the issue and solve the issue. So that's how we get all together. Any other question about the food or the tea ceremony that I can answer you?
Do they teach the tea ceremony every year, or was that just a one-time special thing?
No, that is about the event that we have this year, and I have it in my YouTube channel. They all the performing, and the tea ceremony is one of them. Yeah.
Is that a class that's offered in San Leandro, or how did they all learn how to do that together?
That is a private group. then the dance group,
Oh, okay.
yeah, they are local. It's probably about 200 feet away from here.
Oh, it's not a San Leandro group.
That's an American Academy.
Oh.
Yeah.
They recorded for the intermission.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have the student more than 20 students. They do the performing, and they do performing in San Francisco and also in the East Bay area.
Okay.
But
I want my daughter to do that.
Yeah, the children.
She's sleeping. Those are her feet.
You can bring your family go there on the weekend.
Okay.
Yeah, they open on the weekend, and you can talk to them. Have your children participate, learn how to do the dancing or any other stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I have a question about daylighting. So I was curious, how much does the city of Oakland support it? And like, what is the political environment like? And how much support do you need from the city versus like the residents for which the creek might, their land that might flow through?
Thank you for your question. So I think just to be clear that some of those actions are in tricky legal territory, like the legality of it is not fully on the books, I should say. But what's interesting about, I premiered this at the Port of San Francisco. They're thinking about sea level rise and kind of got to show this project there. And the city of Oakland actually reached out to try and show this to their staff as a means of getting staff to consider what are innovative ways that we can daylight. For the project, specifically for this daylighting, the homes were all owned. And so there's a group of owners, a community, neighbors who came together and decided to perform an action. But it is definitely in a gray area, for sure.
So Jimmy, you're saying those homes that did it, it was on their private property, and
It was
why
on the private property. It wasn't upstream, so right, if we started the private property upstream, there's apartment complexes that sit on, which will make it complex, right? And then even above that is the park. So, but Oakland, just like many American cities, water is culverted and piped down, which affects our more than human relatives, like salmon, oysters, things like that, beavers, things like that.
Are there any other questions?
I have more questions for Jimmy.
Okay.
So this was you just gave a good example of like your film being shown in front of people and how that can make impact on our communities. Have you had some films that you've done that people saw and then that spurred on some social activism that you'd like to share?
Yeah, and I have a question for you too, just curious, because arts and culture, I love how you're bringing like the history of arts and culture in San Leandro. My previous work has been on around sex work and kind of things that are typically demonized in culture, illuminating that. So that's been a lot of my previous work. I'm still kind of thinking through, like, does the city of Oakland deserve to watch this film when so much slow violence was perpetuated by city planners? In my home in Oakley, I'm on the planning commission, and we do not have a library. Like, our library is like a small, it's probably the size of just the seats. And so to know that there's another room next door is actually surreal. We don't have a library, we're trying to get one. But arts and culture is kind of a crucial component to that. I'm curious for San Leandro, because I know Antioch has very, very sour histories, very just dark histories when it comes to Chinese American and Chinese people and migrants. I'm wondering if San Leandro has always been inclusive of Chinese and Asian American folks. Curious about that.
San Leandro, when I moved to San Leandro back in 1993, there is I believe that I didn't see any Chinese restaurant, and mostly I saw it in Chinatown, San Francisco, and right now you can see we have like 3 or 4 supermarket, Chinese supermarket, and also restaurant in downtown and everywhere in San Diego. And the population at that time, when I moved to San Diego, the Asian community is less than 20%, probably around 10%, and it's keep moving. And now we have the Asian population is about 34 to 37%. It's more than 1/3. It's almost close to 40%. And when I see the people during the election, I do the campaign for the candidate. And I don't go and speak the Asian voter. And sometimes it's just only from the conversation that I can, where they coming from? They're coming from San Francisco, coming from Oakland, and because the housing is expensive over there, and they move to San Diego. That's why we get more and more Asian population, and now you can see the other restaurant here in downtown is mostly Asian food, right? And that's how it's increasing. And the politician right now is when we have the Asian event, Chinese event, they mostly come from Stockholm, come for us for the support too. And it's how we get everybody to be together.
I have a response to that. I think I should be clear in saying that Antioch used to be a sundown town for Chinese people. So there was San Leandro as well. I did not know that. And this project made me think about my waterways, where that way, and all of our levees next to that protect our homes currently were built by Chinese migrant labor. And so it's you have this history of everyone's home and property and is protected by these levees, but then there's also this dark history that happened there, and there's not really much cultural. You have to kind of come this way and celebrate, Chinese holidays and things like that. So, thank you for your work. Thank you.
And why I like to make the event in San Leandro is when I see in the past is a lot of, we have 4 main groups. One is the Asian, Latino, Caucasian, and African American. And each group is different, different culture, and they cannot get along together. Like in the school side, is Latino parent and the Asian parent, they always not like each other and complain this, complain that. Asian complain the Latino complain the Asian, right? And they don't like each other. And how we can make everybody like each other and get together. One thing is to solve the issue, make the event, bring the event, bring all this together. And when they get together, know each other, we show them the culture, we show them our culture, then we know each other and become like each other and become friends. And then sometimes we visit each other in San Diego. But if you are in San Francisco, you never see this, right? People just you're different, mine is different, so we don't get along. So when you see the San Francisco and here, you can see the Asian and the Latino and Caucasian people, they get together, come together and get along. But if you are in San Francisco or other area, you never see that. Maybe they don't like each other. So that's why I like to make the event is to bring all group together, and we have no time, right? So if people like each other, if people is get along, there's no doing like hate, the hate crime that we don't have here. So that's why I like to make the culture event and show to the public, expose the culture to other groups, and also like other groups show their culture to us. So know each other. Thank you.
Yes, Curtis?
I have a question for you, Jimmy. Your film was really enlightening. Creeks are some of my favorite places. Sawsall Creek is somewhere I like to go with my dog a lot. And it got me thinking a lot about like wildfire risk, and if you have any idea how much of this process of cultivating has increased wildfire risk in the area, and kind of closer to someone else's question about like how interested is our governments in this when it comes to wildfire control.
Yeah, the speaker in the film, Elizabeth Garcia, who's with this, was previously the city of Berkeley, currently at Berkeley College of Environmental Design, looked at wildfire risk. What I can say from observations being around a lot of environmental designers is that when there's droughts, the water hardens, and when the ground is not mushy, the water cannot go in, right? So if we have years upon years of drought, and then we have what happened 2 years ago, the water let up and just go on top of that hardened ground, that water's not going to have anywhere to go. It's not going to know to seep into the ground. So that's one piece. The second piece is just with wildfire, and people might know this already, but because of the verticality of Oakland, Berkeley, and those, right, the fire travels fast up toward right up hills. And then the final thing is, right, so we tried to plant some native plants around the creek as a walk, because someone actually dropped a cigarette that lit a fire in the area. And so we decided, okay, like, let's put some plants down. But then this most recent heat wave, right, really, right, you think native plants they're going to save us all. But they dried out really quickly. So, and then on top of that, when you're working between different municipalities, right, we planted a number of gardens at Peralta, native plant, native basket making, bringing that cultural piece, right, that weaving of baskets. And we had, our partners, our city folk, right, just think that it's a lawn and mow it over. So there's also this disconnect with how do we all have all these agencies work together to really steward the land properly. I think that kind of my learnings through this is that the best stewards of the land are the first peoples of this land, right? Ohlone in my area, the Miwok speaking people, right? So we're even right now when we speak about wildfires, right? San Jose State right now is looking at bringing indigenous burns back, right? I mean, it's always been, but looking at a white-led institution, right? Predominantly, right? Leading that, it's just very, very interesting, this whole process.
Yes.
Your Three Voices, One Community piece had really vibrant storytelling. And I was wondering if you could tell us about like how you picked which voices to highlight and like how much time you spent with them, what the interview process was like.
Yeah. So I wanted the theme was building community between all of those pieces. So I wanted to highlight the work that people were doing in San Leandro to bring the community together in different ways. And I wanted them to be very different ways. So that's why I was the baker and the therapist and the instructor. And I also wanted to have like a good selection of diversity. So we had the Jewish baker and the Black instructor and the Asian therapist. Because like you said, like San Leandro is very diverse. So I wanted to showcase some of the diversity in the city and just like celebrate the different ways that these entrepreneurs are bringing the community together around their passions. And in terms of time, the second piece I did the fastest. That one was in a day and probably like 4 hours of filming. And then the first one took the longest, because I originally did a shorter video of the roller dancing, and then I expanded it for this project. So I did 2 different interviews with him, and then I did two other days of filming the dancing. And then the baker probably was like in the middle, because it was one interview, like a half-hour interview, and but like probably 3 different days of going to the bakery and filming. Yeah. And we're at time now, so thank you so much, everyone, for coming. Thank you to the filmmakers for submitting your great work. Wouldn't have been able to put this on without your awesome pieces, so thank you so much. Yeah, and thank you for coming.
小肉粽，小肉。